With regards to this criminal act by Mrs. Good on the ICE officer, I wanted to wait a week or so after all this transpired and see what happens. And it's going along what the Democrats want to do, what the Liberals want to do, what the neocons want to do, what Alex Jones talked about, the Podesta plan, where they want to start a civil war with a person that they put up to do something, not saying that you go do it. Well, they kind of did. They indoctrinated a lot of these liberals by making them MK Ultra super soldiers, by providing them, stating that I'm not quite sure if she's on SSRIs or not, and I don't want to make that claim. However, a lot of in our society, they create an idea that everybody's depressed and everybody needs to take some sort of pharmaceuticals to get out of that depression. So, based on the earmarks of all these liberals or these, I would say, communist progressives, was real liberals like John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, Donald Trump. These are not people, these are not the liberals that I was educated about or I grew up with. So these progressive liberals are the MK Ultra super soldiers. And as Alex Jones coins Trantifa, or which is an Antifa spin-off Trantifa. And so Tim Walz, or Tampon Tim, and Ilhan Omar as Imam from Iran, who went on Candace Owens, called her ISIS with lipstick. They're all working fraudulently with even a Somalian within the UN prior to this incident, stealing money from the American public, from all the Americans, not just in Minnesota, because of that, it affects all Americans. And when Trump investigated this, or when an individual reporter, independent reporter, investigated this and found this and went to the Trump administration, and now we're gonna start doing some indictments on Tampon Tim and the wonderful Democrats who are making our society great. All of a sudden, Tampon Tim and even Jesse Ventura were the warrants. Jesse Ventura's, all those people, the neocons, they sent out Trantifa, they sent out these possibly medically induced progressives who are paid agitators. From another investigative reporter, illustrated these are paid agitators who were trained or indoctrinated by the progressive left schools to become MK Ultra Antifa super soldiers, who previously she got shot. She's on purpose, she traveled to that part of Minneapolis, and for the last 5-10 minutes she was blocking ICE, and all of a sudden she blocks ICE. Her husband, the other lady, gets out of the car, entices ICE, gets back in the car, tells her wife to speed the car, while the police officer stands in front telling her to get out, almost hits the police officer, who a week before has PTSD, because everybody wants to talk about PTSD. If the libtards have PTSD, it's bad, you have to work on it. But if somebody like ICE or a conservative or has PTSD, oh, they're Nazis. So he has PTSD. He gets hit by a car because a week before he was getting dragged by a car, and he arrested 2 illegal immigrants who are pedophiles. So of course, when you have PTSD and you're going to get hit by a car, you're going to shoot down the assailant who's trying to kill you with a machine. So, oh wait, what happened in the Iranian protest in LA? when the guy was running, trying to run over the people, all the Iranian protesters who are pro-Iran, which was good actually, went into the car and beat the shit out of the guy. But that's okay. So, you're allowed to beat up the person who's running you over in that type of protest. But when you're getting run over because you're trying to remove illegal immigrants who are gangbangers, rapists, drug dealers, trafficking, pedophilers, and Antifa, MK Ultra super soldier tries to ram you down, you're not allowed to shoot them. I would take the advice from the Chicago chief of police, who said that they don't interfere in ICE, which are federal officers who are real officers. And if you decide to try and run over a federal officer, you're going to get shot accordingly. On top of that, it's interesting that the Canadian media is focusing on this when Chili Con Carne taking his Chinese secret spy who transferred from the Progressive Conservative Party to the Liberal Party, part of the Markham MP or Markham representative, taking him to China, and also taking the other person from Markham to China, who he says he has a lot of CCP connections in Markham. Of course he does. And they're going to China to discuss trade with a person that basically it's one-sided trading, meaning that they take the American companies China did in the last 20 some odd years, build American Canadian crap in their country and sell it back to us, where we deal with America 75% of the time, where Trump is bringing back product in America, built in America. You can make a deal with America to get American goods and not Chinese goods that will we get a warranty for 5 years and then the 6th year it breaks down. I think someone's a communist. Not Trump. Someone's a dictator, where they're going to start introducing bills to spy on us in Canada, and you're not allowed to have any social media. And if your social media is against some sort of political stance by our government, they can shut down your bank account. Wait a second. That's communism? That's a dictatorship? While Trump is reducing interest rates on credit cards for low purchases or low loans, and removing big companies from buying single dwelling homes so we can reduce the prices of homes. Wait a second. That doesn't sound like a dictator. That sounds like a freedom fighter. That sounds like a real liberal conservative who wants to make the middle class and lower income class actually live the American dream. Wait a second. Trump also went to Saudi a while back to force them to reduce the prices of gas and oil, which it impacts America and Canada, but actually makes the rest of Middle East easier to buy gas so people can afford things. He wants to liberate Greenland from European taxes. That sounds like a person who wants to make the world better. He wants to help Iranian protesters kick out the Ayatollahs. Wait a second. While the other presidents were building up the Ayatollahs, while other presidents removed in 1954 governments from Iran, where Iran was like Paris, France, and all of a sudden they became secular. Wait a second. He removed a dictator from Venezuela to build up Venezuela and to stop China, Russia, and Iran from monetary raping of Venezuela to fund their agenda. While our prime minister funds and gives money to the communists, provides money to the radical Islamicists, while working with Donald Trump, while telling us to keep our elbows up, while all his companies are connected to the Trump administration and American businesses? Cutting pipelines where the pipelines were already established, and now he's making face by saying he's going to go talk to some native tribes to discuss about making a pipeline where all the native tribes previously agreed. So that's why the pipeline was going through, and only two of them, who are part of the progressive libtard movement, who taking money from the liberals and neoconservatives, deny the pipeline. So that's why it's not working. So all these liberals, all these progressives, all these MK Ultra super soldiers, and all these people who are getting their information from the influencers. And as we know from Plato stated, there is a sect, a group of people in that time who are influencers who provided information based on no backing, and they spoke very well, so therefore the sheeple would believe their bullshit, where they didn't want to listen to philosophers and mathematicians and doctors and so forth. So all you libtards, all you brainwashed people on the straight side, on the gay side, on the transgender side, there's 9 words in the American, Canadian, English, British language that are the worst words in the dictionary. And that is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Please remember that. Every time the government says they're going to help you, they're doing it for their own benefit. They're taking the whole movements, the women's movement, the gay movement, and using it to spike hatred between groups, to cause the civil war that they're causing. How about Seth Rich, who was murdered by the CIA by an exploding car, because he had information on the Clintons? How about the 6'3" swimmer cook for the Obamas, who had information on them, who died in water up to his knees? How about all the women and all the men and all the children who are being killed by the cartel, who are being killed, and who are the children are being trafficked by all the Somalians, all the illegal immigrants crossing the border? When you become a citizen of a country, you have to go through a very long process to become that citizen of that country. You have to prove that you love this country or that country you're in, not come in on a whim and they give you everything, and they give you welfare, they give you $3,000 a month. That's not America. That's socialism. That's communism. And as Savage states, when you bring the third world to the first world and make it a third world, that's what it happens. We turn into a big clump of turd. So we have to stand up. We have to stand behind ICE, because ICE is doing a job that will make our country, the world, better. They are not killing anybody. They're killing people who are ramming them in cars. They're killing gangbangers. They're killing rapists. They're killing illegals that shouldn't be there, who should be kicked out of our country because they're bringing our country down. There's a process of having immigrants coming who can quickly bypass the whole immigration process to prove that they are contributing to our society. Those are the immigrants we need. Those are the immigrants. My parents came, my wife's parents came, and many of you people watching, listening, even you libtards watching and listening, not too many people watch and listen to what I'm saying, but whoever is, your parents, if parents were not a Canadian American through and through, but if you were people who are second or third generation American Canadian, your parents, grandparents came the right way of doing things. And as Savage said, he came from wherever, and they landed in Brooklyn, and his parents did not want welfare whatsoever. And all the people back in the 1900s, 1800s, 1960s who needed welfare, they would rather jump off a roof or get run over by a train to getting welfare. Canada, 1776.